will not be recorded, so make sure if you're going to speak to have your mics on. Item 1, we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We have more than a quorum for a change. Thank you for that. The town of Inuvik acknowledges we are located on the traditional lands of the Gwich'in and Inuvialuit people of the Northwest Territories. We are grateful to be allowed the opportunity to learn, work, and live on Treaty 11 lands within the Gwich'in settlement area and the lands of the Inuvialuit Final Agreement. We respect the generous sharing of traditional wisdom and knowledge. We commit to honoring paths towards self-determination. Item 2, adoption of the agenda as amended. There are additions to the agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Merrow and Deputy Mayor Kulikowski. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Item 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Anyone? 4.1, we had the RCMP report on Monday. I need a motion to accept the report. Gowans and Harder. All in favor? Carried. We had a delegation for the hours of operation at the library and a delegation for greener neighborhoods. Item 5, public question period. Since there's no public here, I guess we don't have any questions. 6.1, the minutes of the August the 9th, 2023 council meeting. I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Gowans and Councilor Alexis. All in favor? Sorry, any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. 7.1, the action items list. Any comments? Councilor Alexis?
Can we add in the action item list to consider changing hours of operation at the library when the potential library manager is hired?
Wasn't getting anything.
Councillor Whitney, I could not hear you. Can you repeat that, please?
I said for the action item list, is it possible to consider to add the changing hour of operation for the library when the potential manager will be hired?
SAO Travis?
Councillor Alexis, I will definitely add that to my action item list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, item 8.1. The updates to the credit card policy. The recommendation or motion is Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the Town of Inuvik credit card policy FM.004 as revised. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Devlin and Councillor Alexis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. 8.2, the medical travel benefits. That be it resolved, Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the amendments to Article 221 and Article 305 of the Town of Inuvik Human Resource Policy HR.012. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Gowans and Councillor Merrow. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. 8.3. This is a new item, appointment of members to the Public Works Committee. I need 3 people. Any volunteers? Councillor Harder. Councillor Day. And one more. Councillor Gowans. So the motion will be it resolved, the Inuvik Town Council hereby appoints the following councillors to the Public Works Committee for a term expiring at the end of this council's term of office. Councillor Harder, Councillor Day, and Councillor Gowans. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Merrow, seconded by Councillor Alexis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Next one is 8.4, appointment of members to the Economic Development Committee. Again, I need 3 volunteers. Counselor Devlin, Counselor Alexis, and one more, Counselor Harder. So the motion is, be it resolved, the Inuvik Town Council hereby appoints the following counselors to the Economic Development Committee for a term expiring at the end of council's term of office. Counselors Devlin, Alexis, and Harder. I need a mover and a seconder. Deputy Mayor Kulikowski and Counselor Merrill. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. Item 9.1, the Land Administration Bylaw 2708/LND/23. The motion is, be it resolved that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives third reading to bylaw 2708/LND/23, the Land Administration Bylaw. Moved by Counselor Devlin, seconded by Counselor Merrill. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. 9.2, first and second reading. First reading, appointment of Director of Protective Services. Be it resolved that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives first reading to bylaw 2717/APP/23, a bylaw to appoint a Director of Protective Services. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kulikowski, seconded by Counselor Gowans. Any discussion? Counselor Devlin.
Could we receive some background information on the referred choice? Just to make it formal. I know some of us know the fire chief in various capacities. Some of us may not know him very much at all. So if we might be able to have that, that'd be
Good
great.
point.
Thank you.
I think we can do that before third reading. Wouldn't be a problem, would it, SAO Travis?
Your worship, I don't mind at all giving a quick update, not only on the appointment and selection of our new fire chief and director of protective services, but as a whole, in general, the senior management team and the SAO sat down at a very critical time about 6 to 7 weeks ago when we lost 2 senior directors in our organization and we had a town in front of us that we needed to keep running. And we also are in an environment where resources for recruitment are very, very scarce in our region. Fortunately, we found in one of our very important departments, which is protective services, we found that that team had a number of years of internal training, internal, I guess, nurturing. And we were able to leverage the strength from those years of internal coaching and training and growth. Had that department not done that, I would not have been able to move Cindy Pillai into a management role to rebuild public works. And I would not have had Brian Larman to step up and run the fire department. So I was very fortunate, and those were just real quick wins that we took advantage of it as administration to keep our town safe and to have a fire department that could respond. And don't forget, we were also in the middle of a potential town evacuation. From that, we had a retirement. We had a senior director retire. We had another director leave for health reasons. And I also terminated one of our directors. And we have a plan. I've brought council in a number of weeks ago. We had pizza. I've shared our plan with you and our vision. I shared our org structure with you. We are moving forward. We are an action-oriented group, and Chitty, thank you for coming tonight. The rest of the directors have either fire training or other things they're attending to, and they are all committed to our new vision and our new direction. And in fact, they're so excited about it that they've actually renamed our team Inuvik. So we meet, we move forward, and we are excited to serve the town. Every movement that I made within the organizational structure was a management position. And in the municipalities that I've worked in the past, management teams are free to move and promote and do as they please. In a unionized environment, I would not have been able to make the decisions, the promotions and the changes that I made. So we stand by them strongly and we're going to move forward. And we've even moved forward so quickly in the last few weeks that we've actually got the Gwitchin and the Evaluate bought into our movement, our action and our visions. And we hope to ask for patience now and time to allow us to staff up and show through our efforts what this town is going to be. And we'll let that speak for itself. Thank you.
Thank you for that, SAO Travis. I don't think anybody's questioning the appointment at all. I think all council is asking for here, or the councillor in particular, is background information in the future prior to any appointments. Something as simple as a resume. Councillor Merrill?
If I could just comment on that, we as the council have no say in the hiring. That's the SAO's job. I'd be very, very uncomfortable from a labor relations point of view if we were looking at resumes before somebody was hired. We need to stay out of that entirely.
Thank you for that, Councillor Merrill. I quite agree with you. Councillor Devlin.
Just to respond to that, I'm not looking for a resume or anything like that. It's, we talked about this earlier this week. It's being able to work off of something. So, hey, here's an introduction to this new person that you guys are about to appoint, so that we're not that rubber stamp. That's all I'm saying. We're not here to make a yay or nay choice or anything like that. It's just more information for us to be able to make informed decisions. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Councillor Merrill.
We have no decision. It's not our decision. It's strictly the SAO's decision. Am I correct on that?
Okay, thank you. We'll end it there. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Department head reports. I need a motion to accept the reports. Councillor Harder, seconded by Councillor Alexis. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Kulikowski.
Thank you. I'd just like to say I appreciated the time and the information presented on Monday night. Much nicer to hear the words from the directors, be able to answer those questions right away, as opposed to reading them off the page and then trying to remember to ask them on the night or whatever. That was great. And I look forward to seeing that process as we move forward. Understanding that that was the first one, it might have gone a little longer than it might be in the future, but super appreciative of the different process. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I would echo Deputy Mayor Kulikowski's comments. That was a refreshing change. Anyway, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Sorry. Councillor Devlin.
Yeah, I too wanted to say thank you very much for the upgraded director's reports. Would it be possible after the Monday meeting to get copies of their reports so that we can follow along? Thank you.
SAO.
Councillor Devon, I gave the liberty to my directorship team to have the flexibility to give a verbal update, take questions. If they so choose and have time to put a paper report together, yes, you would get a copy of it. In the case of some directors, based on their availability of time and resources, for the example of Chitty's presentation, it was on PowerPoint, so there was a copy of it. In the case of Director Krugs, he gave a verbal, so I left it in their hands, and they had three requirements: qualitative, quantitative, and questions. I'm trying to get more discussion and more questions happening versus paper and handouts. I am so pressed for time that I'm finding I don't have time to read things, and I'm going to leave it to the directors and their style and not dictate to them how they want to report to council. Other than they should speak to their quantitative and qualitative and take questions from council.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay, motion has been passed. Information items, strategic priorities chart, any comments? Yes,
Of order all the way back to, we never did the second reading for the appointment of Director of Protective Services. We only did one reading.
you are correct. Second reading, same bylaw to appoint a Director of Protective Services, a mover and a seconder, Counselor Alexis and Counselor Gowans. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, Counselor. Okay, strategic priorities chart, any questions? Council concerns? Counselor Devlin?
I just thought it might be prudent. We're about a year out from election. And wanted to bring up the discussion of discussing for next term about the possibility of extending from 3 years to 4 years, the term for an Inuvik town councillor. And some of the reasons behind that are in the next, not the coming term, but the term after, we will wind up in a situation where both the GNWT elections and municipal elections will be happening at the same time. And this is something that we obviously run into once every 12 years or so. And like I said, this doesn't affect us at all, anybody around this table, but it is something that there's only really one chance to have that discussion. And I thought since we're a year out, we can at least broach that subject to see if there is interest in extending term for municipal council in Inuvik from 3 years to 4 years. Thank you.
I guess if we're gonna assess what council might look like, I wonder if it's also time to have the conversation about whether the mayor's job should be full or part-time again. It's been a few years since we had the conversation, not necessarily saying it has to change or should or shouldn't, just that it might be, if we're gonna do an assessment of those types of things, maybe that's that opportunity too.
That go off. Anything further? Counselor Merrill?
So it's not a concern, rather it's a compliment. Councillor Day had suggested that we lengthen the area for parking at the boat launch, and that has been so incredibly popular and so much safer. So yeah, thanks for that idea, and whoever did all the work. That's been a joy this summer.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we do have an in-camera tonight, so I need a motion to go in camera. Counselor Gowan, seconded by Counselor Merrill. All in favor? Motion's carried. SAO Travis, it's all yours.